Welcome to Curious Joel, a show about curiosity taking us deeper into the topics of people's passion and interest in conversation. I'm your host, Joel Circo. So I'd like to start off with a quick, brief apology. Between the holidays, a small family emergency, and some mental health things that I was dealing with, this episode is coming out quite a bit late. I originally intended this to come out before Thanksgiving, but things got in the way, and I'm sorry for that. But this year, I wanted to do something a little different for this time of year. So something that's really heavy on my heart is that I believe that Thanksgiving shouldn't be the one time of year we sit and actually give thanks. I think that we should be thankful for everything all year round. We should be actively thinking of things that we are thankful for, being mindful of those things year around. And I feel like Thanksgiving is when we should be diving really deep into those things. Go beyond the sincere but standard thankful things. Whenever you hear or see people talking about that, oftentimes it's a lot of the same things of, I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for my job, you kind of think of certain things that you're always supposed to be thankful for every Thanksgiving. And sometimes I feel like we oftentimes save those things that we're supposed to be thankful for until Thanksgiving. And we kind of like, well, I don't have to do that yet. And then when it comes to Thanksgiving, we hit the, top 7, top 10, whatever, answers, and then we're good. So this year, I actually went around and asked people what Thanksgiving actually means to them, or what giving thanks means to them. And then I asked them specifically for something that goes beyond the normal, stereotypical answers that you hear. Again, no matter how sincere they are, and I appreciate that. Like, those are definitely things that we need to be thankful for, but kind of going beyond that, really digging in. So I asked a bunch of people what they're thankful for, and in a little bit you'll hear clips from those questions and get some answers for those. But before we do, I just wanted to kind of give a couple of mine. So on Instagram, again, I was trying to do a one post a day about things that I'm thankful for. I kind of hit a hiccup. Again, I hit a family emergency and then the holidays. And for me, I felt like it was more important to be present for the holidays than trying to come up with a post. But you can look on my Instagram for a few of those things. I'm going to talk about a couple really quick. And one of them is teamwork. So I work with a wonderful team on my day job. They are supportive, insightful, uplifting, and encouraging. And I believe that we are created to be teams. We are not created to be alone. We are created to work with other people. And there are certain things that we just cannot do by ourselves. And I think it is important for us to remember that, because one of the things that depression does is that it makes you feel alone, that you don't have anybody to help you. And it's really, really hard to walk up to somebody and say, hey, I need help. I'm depressed and I'm working on getting out of this, but I don't know how yet. That is something that's been a big growth thing for me. But one of the things that has helped me with that is realizing, like, I am built to have other people help me. I am built to seek others for help and advice, that I don't have to go this alone. And I think that we have people put in our lives for that specific reason, that whenever we hit a spot where we cannot go on, that we have other people that we can rely on to help us through. One of the other ones that I think about quite often is colors. So we have this beautiful spectrum that we can see that is not practical, or at least it didn't have to be. See, whenever I bring this up, a lot of people will bring up like, well, that's how we tell the difference between what's good to eat and what's bad to eat, and that's how we tell the difference between this and that, and but if you really think about it, it didn't have to be, And I tell people, and they're like, well, how else would we tell what's good to eat and bad to eat? And I'm like, well, it could have been shapes. Could have been like anything that's square is poisonous, and anything that's triangle is good, and circles are okay, or whatever have you. Like, it could have been just shapes that tell us that thing. And I think that our Creator had something better in mind, that it was beyond the practical use. It allows us to see beauty in things, that it allows us to add an extra layer, and beyond just what we can see. But I think even just the fact that colors exist lets us explore other creative options in life. And just, I mean, how many of you have heard, like, of course I'd forget the phrase right now, over the rainbow, somewhere over the rainbow, and colors themselves can represent things that we wouldn't have phrases for, or at least to say one, if it wasn't for colors. And I am just very appreciatory of and thankful for the fact that we have this whole spectrum that most of us can see. And I don't mean to leave out anybody, and I'm not trying to say anything about the people that can't see the full spectrum or the spectrum at all. But, and I think that it's something that brings something to our whole culture, whether or not you can see it. But I mean, similar, like if you really dive into any of our senses, like even smell, like things didn't need to smell. Yes, we use it practically, and it is a necessity in the world that we're in, but our world didn't have to be this way. Our world could have been something that smell was irrelevant, that it didn't do anything. We didn't need it. We could have gone without noses. We could have gone without smelling, but you can walk into a room and be brought back to your childhood because of a simple smell. Smells are so powerful in their nature that they can bring us from where we are to somewhere else. They can remind us of love, whether that's your significant other or your family, or even like a pet. Like, it can remind you of things that you might have forgotten. And again, like, it's one of those things that I think a lot of people just kind of gloss over and go, yeah, of course we can smell, but yeah, those are just a couple of the things that, like, I try and really dig deep and try and really ponder, like, what we have been given, and really be thankful for what we have, because we take so much of life for granted, and we really shouldn't. There's a lot of things that didn't need to happen that did, and I believe that they're just for our benefit. With that being said, like I said, I've got some people that I've asked these questions to. They gave really beautiful answers. And yeah, so we'll hear from them. Let me know on Twitter or Instagram or, wherever. Email me if you have something that you're thankful for, and I'll try and put those in future episodes if you're interested in that. Or just share with us just what you're thankful for. I'd appreciate all that. So, Paul, what does Thanksgiving mean to you?
Thanksgiving obviously means giving thanks, but it's very important to remember who we're giving thanks to.
Okay.
It's not just having a thankful attitude, but actually giving thanks to God for what He's given to us, and realizing that everything we have comes from Him. So, while we have a specific day set aside to think about it, and it's a federal holiday, so we can have time off to be still and give thanks to God, it should be something we do all year long.
I agree with that. I've been trying to push for that this year, just like, let's get beyond just the stereotypical no matter how genuine, but the stereotypical answers on Thanksgiving, people like, I feel like they save up their like top 5, top 7 things. So what's something that goes beyond like the Family Feud style top 10 answers on the board? Like, what is something that you're thankful for?
Well, I'm not sure, because the top 10 things are probably covering just about every aspect of our life that we can be thankful for.
Sure.
But instead of saying something odd that I'm thankful for, I think instead of just saying I'm thankful for my family, like that's what most people say, I'm thankful for my family, I would say I'm very thankful that in my siblings, we all get along. We have a blast whenever we get together. There's no tension. There's very minor conflicts. It's usually calendar conflicts, if anything. But I'm very thankful that even though we've got some weird dynamics in our family, we have a very loving, friendly family. You guys aren't just my siblings, you're my friends. And you're the friend group I hang out with the most. And then thankful for my wife and kids, but to take that beyond the stereotypical, I'm very thankful and grateful, especially this year, watching Isaac and Gideon become leaders in Awana, serving others and growing in their Christian walk. Each one of my children is unique. I'm still praying for some of them who I don't believe have accepted Christ, but I know 2 of them have, and I see proof of that in their actions and their heart and what they do. And I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful that God imported a wife for me. She was in Northern California. I was in Southern California. The chances of me going there were very slim. And God set up the Institute for Creation Research on the Elkhorn campus of Shadow Mountain Community Church with Christian Heritage College, specifically to draw her to that campus so that we meet. If it weren't for that ICR being in El Cajon, she wouldn't have come. And so God worked around both of our interests and needs and growth patterns to bring her to me. And we've been married for 17 and a half years. And it's shocking sometimes that we're nearing 20 years of marriage. And we haven't fought once. We've had disagreements. But she's a people pleaser and I'm a diplomat, personality-wise. So it's very difficult to get us to fight. And anything we fight together, not against each other.
That's not very common nowadays, as far as you see marriage like shown in anything.
And then I've been leading Bible study through Romans. I've been teaching my adult Bible fellowship, and as I do this, I become more and more thankful and grateful for the freedoms we enjoy in this country, which specifically include freedom to practice religion, freedom to have a relationship with God based on my beliefs of what God says, not based on the state's beliefs of how that should be practiced. And I've been emphasizing that in my Sunday school class. Like, this is amazing. We have missionaries who go to China, come back and talk about the state Christianity, which is as washed down as possible, and then the underground Christianity, which is as vibrant as any church can be. So our religious freedoms in the United States, while that may be a stereotypical answer, I really understand what that means, and I feel it.
It goes beyond just the, we have freedom. Gotcha.
So I think those are 3, and if I could add one more.
Sure, go for it.
I'm super grateful to God for putting me in a job. I had no ambition out of high school for any particular job. In college, I worked a couple different jobs to pay for tuition. And then when I graduated from college, I found another job because I was getting my master's degree and just wanted to stay close. And so I started working at Shadow Mountain, and I've held many positions. I've been laid off twice and rehired. And I've held now 9 or 10 different positions at Shadow Mountain. And it's a full-time job. But right now I'm working in a space where I get to use my spiritual gift of service every day. In an environment where everybody I'm working with are Christians. They're believers.
Yeah.
And so it's a mostly positive environment that I'm working in. And I get to serve God's people with the gift he gave me.
That's a really nice position to be in.
Yeah. And I've gotten so much training over the years. I've been working at Shadow Mountain now I've been working on the campus for 23 years. I've been working for Shadow Mountain rather than Christian Heritage College for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on whether you count the 9 months and the 3 months that I was laid off, so either 19 or 20 years. My start date was 20 years ago, but I've only been working 19 years for them. But through the years, I've gotten lots of training from people who are journeymen in their field.
Mm-hmm.
So I can take care of doors and drywall and troubleshoot electricity and plumbing and do projects at home with carpentry and whatnot.
And locksmithing.
And locksmith. Yes.
Slightly less enthusiastic about that side.
So the number 5 thing I'm really thankful to God for is that somehow mommy and daddy were able to create in me, cultivate an attitude of learning.
Mm-hmm.
So that through all my life, I've been able to be thrown into a situation and rapidly acclimate and learn what it is I need to do there. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the things that has kept me in my positions at church, because they've realized they can throw me anywhere. And I might not know anything about it when I enter the position, but by the time I leave the position, whatever position I held will be brought up to an excellent standard of customer care, of expert detail work in that area, and they've been able to trust me with lots of different things. So I'm very grateful to God for the cultivation of my learning.
Great. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, Isaac, what does Thanksgiving mean to you?
To me, it's one of my longer times that I spend with my family, because it's either with like you on my dad's side, or we go over to my mom's side for a week. So it's great for getting some time to spend with my family. Almost always either case involves some time in the woods, so nature time.
Okay.
And it also, the woods is especially good because it helps me balance out all the Thanksgiving food.
Right. So what's something non-stereotypical that you're thankful for?
Probably the great collection of sticks that I can't just collect sticks.
Okay.
I've gotten much pickier over the years from when I was little. I've got, I think, 4 walking sticks, 2 guns, and then there's all the sticks I've carved into things. Once I've got a palm tree branch that I turned into a tree trimmer, which is actually really effective.
That's really cool. Okay. And any more details on that, or?
Not really.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. So, John, what does Thanksgiving mean to you?
Thanksgiving is a great time to get together with most of the family and celebrate our togetherness. It's one of the biggest things we have to be thankful for is our family.
Okay. So what is your non-typical thankfulness?
Electricity.
Okay.
I tell my students all the time that, you walk into a room, you flip light switch, you don't even think it might not turn on.
Right.
We plug things in all the time, and we don't think there might not be power there.
Right.
And having electricity available for use anytime you need it without thinking about, is there enough, is one of those little things that I think I like to be thankful for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think about that at all. Just and blackouts are a really big inconvenience, because it's the one time we have to think, is it going to work this time?
Yep.
Okay.
We had a blackout at the end of a school day a couple years back. It was the big one that blacked out Arizona, Southern California, and everything.
Right.
And we couldn't go back to school for a couple of days because we didn't have electricity.
Right.
In the old days, we would have just had school, but now you need electricity to do things.
Right. we've become reliant on it so much so that it's just a take it for granted.
Yep. And no one really thinks about it.
Okay. I really like that. That's a really important thought to have, of just like, we could have not had electricity. We could also suffer from not having a steady supply of electricity. So thank you very much, John.
You're welcome.
So Kevin,
Yeah.
what does Thanksgiving mean to you?
Well, I would say it means something different to me today than it has for much of my life.
Okay.
Typically, Thanksgiving has meant gathering with family, eating a lot of food, traditional kinds of foods, and having fun with family, and having a general sense of Thanksgiving, of having this feeling of thanks, and maybe even of sharing a few things that I'm thankful for with my wife or kids or my parents, maybe when I was younger. But recently, I've begun thinking about Thanksgiving as something that's more specific, and trying to live each day looking for specific things that I'm thankful for, rather than something that having this general feeling of Thanksgiving, but being thankful for the sun today on the mountain here that's just amazing on my skin, that kind of thing. And so lately, Thanksgiving has been a time to kind of rehash the list of things, because I keep a list now of things I'm thankful for, to rehash that.
Okay. And what's can you give me like an example of something that you're thankful for that you feel like kind of has slipped off people's radar a little bit? Like something that you think more people should be more appreciatory of and thankful for, that maybe kind of gets lost in all the hustle and bustle of Thanksgiving?
Well, I don't know enough about what people might miss, but I'll judge by what I've missed before, and use that and say that often I have been thankful for a specific experience or for a specific thing.
Okay.
And what I forget to ask myself is, well, who am I thankful to for that experience or for that thing? Because thankfulness is typically, if you give me a gift, I'm thankful for the gift, but I'm thankful to you for the gift.
The gift giver versus the actual gift
the
itself.
gift giver. And so I think for me, the thing that I've forgotten, and maybe other people do too, is to think about who's the giver of the gift.
Yeah, more of the, I think,
God.
like,
in my case, I thank God for these things.
Or like for Christmas, it's like, I thank my sister for
Yeah.
the wonderful gift
Yeah.
that she gave me, versus just like, wow, I'm thankful I got a new deck of cards.
Yes, yes. But I'm
Gotcha.
thankful that she cared enough to go out and think about it,
Sure.
and ask the question, what would Kevin want, and that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Sure.
So Megan, what does Thanksgiving mean to you?
Thanksgiving is a time to spend time with family and to just take a break from crazy busyness and just celebrate together the things that we've been blessed with, the people who are in our lives that mean a lot to us, and to just have a time together.
Okay. So what is your thing that you're thankful for?
I'm thankful for the ability to be able to do things,
What do you
like
mean?
physically.
Okay.
So like bending over and tying my shoes, or making my bed, or picking up my niece or nephews. Those kinds of things are things sometimes I think we take for granted, especially as young people. And
Yeah. Getting to the point where I'm not taking that for granted anymore. And I'm way too young for that to be happening.
right? As we get a little older and, something silly happens, like we throw out our back, or we sprain our knee, or those kinds of things, and our bodies don't bounce back as quickly.
Yeah.
I've been trying to be more purposeful about being more active and getting more exercise so that I can do those things longer.
Right.
To be able to be healthy and be able to have the physical longevity to be able to do stuff long term.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I should really be thinking about that more. So thank you for bringing it up, and hopefully everyone will appreciate their ability to do things now. Thank you so much, Megan.
You're welcome.
So Ben, what does Thanksgiving mean to you?
To me, Thanksgiving is a time to remind myself and others of, most importantly, the God-given freedom that I enjoy in this country, as well as the family that I get to enjoy it with.
Okay. And what's the one thing that you're really thankful for?
This year, the thing that's really come to me is time. The time that we have to spend with people and to do certain things, especially our loved ones.
Okay, so just like that time is precious and that we only have so much of it to spend in any given day, time, day, week, month, year.
Yeah, so with the given time allowed, spend that time with your loved ones as much as possible.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ben.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed that. We had some really interesting things that people talked about. Thank you so much for listening. And I just want you all to know that when I say that, I truly mean that every single time. Every single episode that I've said that, I mean that sincerely. That I am thankful for every single person that listens to the show. That is one of the things that I am thankful for. So, again, now that you hopefully know this a little better, but thank you. Thank you for listening. If you like what you get to hear on this show, please, I would be very thankful if you could share this with somebody that you think would enjoy it. If you want to send me any comments or thoughts or people that you think I should interview, or questions that you think I should be asking in my interviews, or maybe even a topic that you think I should cover, please send any of that to either me on Twitter at Joel Circo, on Instagram at CuriousJoelCast, or email me at CuriousJoelCast@gmail.com, and I will read all of that. Yeah. Thank you so much to Milana Dodd for her wonderful cover art that she has made. She's a wonderful graphic design artist. You can find her at Milana's Design. I think that's right. It will be right in the description below. And you can also visit her at her website, which I will put that in. I believe it's milanadodd.com. But again, that'll be correct in the description below. So go check that out. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll catch you all on the next episode.